So, I want to create a digital artifact in the form of 3 video essays. This is the first one, the introduction to the potential futures of social media. So the way that I'm going to speculate the futures of social media in this video series is by firstly looking at the history of social media, researching academia and documenting social media's effects on humanity, and also look at historical future texts to gather ideas and help my own speculations. Now, before we can look into the possible futures of the cyber communications and media platforms, we're going to have to look at its past to understand it better and recognize patterns. Luckily for us, the technology's only been apparent since 1997. So here's a quick rundown of the history of social media. The first social media platform to be available on the internet was a site called 6 Degrees. Published in 1997, it contained features that are now staples in the social media platforms of today. Unfortunately, this website was unable to sustain itself as there were just not enough people on the internet at the time. Less than 2% of the world's population used the internet. Shortly after the demise of 6 Degrees in 2002, Friendster, a new social media website, appeared that eventually got over 1 million active users. It had similar properties to pioneering sites of its time, but with an easier going format and an overall good-looking presentation. The next contender to dominate the social cyber world was Myspace in 2003, another platform that took a great amount of inspiration from Friendster. Myspace had easily taken over Friendster due to the creators promoting it via their existing user base on their other dating and gaming websites. Myspace was also able to create new adaptive features quicker than Friendster, which had ultimately led to crazy profile backgrounds, endless amounts of blogs, all laid with groovy word art and GIFs. This was also shortly outlived as Facebook first launched in 2004. Facebook introduced a new aspect into social media, which was the wall, which is similar to a news feed, but you could only post plain text. During the shadowing of Myspace with Facebook, a new non-copycat-like version of a social media platform appeared, Twitter, in 2006. It was different in the manner that instead of focusing on user profiles, it was only interested in 140-character, non-editable micro-blog posts, or tweets. Twitter also introduced the often misused hashtag in 2007. The hashtag eventually evolved into being a tool to determine what topics were trending. Further along in time, as common cell phone cameras and internet capabilities were advancing, Instagram popped into the scene in 2010, with Snapchat following in 2011. These can be considered as new wave contenders in the social cyberspace. Instagram's format has more of an organic scroll. It holds a permanent place for content such as photos or videos that are presented with a description and hashtags for discoverability. It has a more forward approach to sharing creativity, substance, and quality, whereas Snapchat, the content exchange is usually quick and fast-paced. Snapchat servers are designed to automatically delete messages sent in one-on-one chats after both Snapchatters have opened and left the chat. Snapchat was also the first to introduce stories. This allows you to post a video or photo for everyone to see, and then for the post to be automatically deleted after 24 hours. This aspect has now been adapted by the majority of the social media giants, such as Instagram since 2006, Facebook, and YouTube. Which reminds me, why have I excluded YouTube and Reddit? And what makes them vastly greater than any other social media site? The reason being is that the site was made to be a search engine. And to be a good search engine, you need to take a mass amount of unorganized information and organize it in a way to make it much more accessible and an organized experience for the users. We can type in a topic that we are interested in and find a mass amount of videos related to it, and then find communities based on that. It's the amount of control these platforms give us is what differentiates them so much from the rest. Well, now that we've looked into the history of the majority of the social media platforms to date and their functionalities in the social cyber world, I would like to have a look at how social media has an effect on mental health and where this could potentially lead humanity in the next 1 to 5 to 20 years. This will be done with the help of lecture material and historical future sci-fi text, as well as many sources I can find amongst the internet. How can social media affect mental health? Well, ideas are stronger than force. As Edward Lytton once said, the pen is mightier than the sword. The rate that ideas can spread nowadays is unprecedented via the internet and other social media platforms. A report released from the Royal Society for Public Health stated that social media usage is associated with increasing rates of anxiety, depression, sleep quality, body image issues, and cyberbullying. In the same report, it states that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat have an overall negative effect of the well-being of the younger generation. This has caused people to put down and walk away from social media altogether, as the negatives outweigh the goods. Although YouTube turned out to have a net positive effect on people, even helping them cope with anxiety, loneliness, and depression. Although this social media can have a negative effect on individuals, it's an amazing technology that lets people connect in a way the world has never seen before. As the only media society has been able to consume in the past has been filtered by the higher power controlling what you see to ultimately control the people. Social media lets us bypass this, to let individuals spread information with no filter. People shouldn't have to feel the need to leave this technology. It's a new tool that's shaping the future for humankind and is changing the organic cycle of natural human evolution. That's a wrap for the first edition in this series. For part 2, I want to look at relevant future history texts to critically analyze to help the construction of theories of the potential futures of social media. As one of the reasons we look at this historical science fiction text is because images of future work to shape the historical actions people take. We have to take it seriously that the idea that images of the future are amongst the ideas of present behaviour. This is the third purpose of future studies, according to Wendy. We have to be aware what images of the future can influence humanity. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you at part 2.